Wow, am I late? I'm not sure if you all remembered, there was a tag video that went around the fragrance community. 10 designer fragrances for the rest of your life, toss out the rest. I was tagged a while back by a couple people, one of which being Dallas from Chaos Fragrances. Now the concept is pretty self-explanatory. In your entire collection, pick 10 fragrances that are designer, and then you can't have anything else for the rest of your life. And a big part of this fragrance journey of mine is collecting fragrances that I will have for the rest of my life. No fads, hype beasts, passing trends. So I've managed to format this into a top 10 format, from least important to most important. I've also managed to only select one fragrance per house. That was a challenge, but I managed to do it. And I must have some sort of intuition thingy going on, because the list ended up being a very nice balance of warm weather, cool weather, formal, casual. Pretty nice. So the number 10 slot from the house of Issey Miyake, L'Odyssée pour Homme. This fragrance came out around the time of Acqua di Gio, when fresh fragrances dominated the men's cologne world. L'Odyssée pour Homme is interesting because it uses citrus, but mainly yuzu and a bit of grapefruit. Yuzu isn't used very often in designer fragrances, so it was really cool to see it happen here. There's also a nice woodiness to it and a very clean vetiver in the dry down. It does last a very long time compared to the other freshies that it competed against. Even the modern formulation is a respectable performing fragrance. It's only number 10 because I don't wear it nearly as often as I used to, but it had to be on this list because this is one of my first fragrances ever. So there's a huge nostalgia factor there. If you haven't seen my video on nostalgia, it's right up there if you want to check it out. Number 10, L'Odyssée pour Homme. Number 9, another fresh fragrance that gives me nostalgia, Acqua di Gio Essenza. Now this one's a little bit different because Essenza wasn't a fragrance I always owned, but I did used to wear Acqua di Gio and I used to wear Perry Ellis 360 Red quite a bit. I also used to smell those fragrances on a lot of people. Unfortunately, Acqua di Gio, not only is it really boring, but it's a very weak fragrance now. Essenza gives me the same nostalgia, but better performance and a more nuanced fragrance. It's an outstanding, flexible, versatile fragrance that is fairly year-round, although Absolute and Profumo are perhaps a little more appropriate for cooler weather or evenings, but this can still work in almost any condition. You can probably guess why it's only number 9. It's not very unique, and it doesn't have a J-ROYL stamp on it. Yes, I'll smell clean and get compliments, but there will be other people that smell very similar. Number 9. At number 8, we have a fragrance from the house of Guerlain. L'Instant Guerlain pour Homme Eau Extrême, or Eau de Parfum, which is a magical fragrance that I used to have, and then I got rid of, and then I missed it so much that I had to get it back. It is a masculine star anise, chocolatey fragrance that is so seductive but so sophisticated. This is one that I don't wear very often because it works much better in formal occasions than it does casual, and I don't get myself into very many formal occasions. But I value this more than a lot of the niche fragrances in my collection because it has that elegance to it. I can also definitely see myself wearing this way more as I get older, so I am thinking long-term with this one. The reason it's number 8 though is I have other fragrances on this list that I can wear on formal occasions but have more versatility, so at number 8, bam! My number 7 fragrance from the house of Abercrombie & Fitch. Yep, Fierce. Laugh all you want, but I love my Fierce. Yes, this has a nostalgia factor to it because it was the high school scent, but not only that, it was the shopping mall scent because they used to pump this into the air in the Abercrombie & Fitch stores. There's many things I love about Fierce, including its smell, smells amazing, its versatility, it's fresh but piney and green and works amazing in the cold weather, and it lasts all day every time I wear it. I'm talking 10 hours of longevity, maybe 4 hours of projection. I'll spray it on in the morning and get strong whiffs while I'm eating my lunch. Every time your skin heats up while wearing Fierce, it'll get reinvigorated and you'll smell it again. Although this has an extremely youthful scent, I could see myself wearing this when I'm older. Why not? It'll remind me of my youth, and it'll be like an elixir of life from the fountain of youth. Cause age ain't nothing but a number, y'all. It is number 7, however, because sometimes I do want to smell a little more classy, and Fierce is very chill. This guy, number 7. At number 6, from the house of Christian Dior. Dior Homme. This list could have easily been all Dior fragrances from the Dior Homme line, but I narrowed it down to the original. It was the first one that started it all. It has a nice classy iris that is not too overbearing, not too sweet like the Intense, not too beastly like the Parfum, yet still light enough to wear in the warmer weathers like Sport and Eau for Men and even Cologne. Before Dior Homme, iris wasn't a thing in men's fragrances. Now that it's out, we have all of its flankers, we have the Valentino Uomo line. There are more and more floral men's fragrances. I will be very sad to say goodbye to the rest of the Dior Homme line, but if you pointed a gun at my head, I would pick this one. Just because it does so much, you know? Even though I got love for my boy Parfum. At number 6, Dior Homme. It's time for the top 5, everyone. From the house of Tom Ford at number 5, Tom Ford Noir Extreme. This one smells like kulfi, which apparently is delicious. And I am a fan of Indian cuisine, so I should try it. Because if it smells anything like this, I'm gonna eat tons of it. Tom Ford Noir Extreme has a lovely spicy sweetness to it. Very, very alluring. And what makes it alluring is the fact that it doesn't have really strong projection. A lot of people will complain about that, but the performance is perfect for me. There's no problem with the longevity. It'll last 10 plus hours on your skin, but it's not an obnoxious fragrance, so you can wear it in many different circumstances. Dates would be perfect. Your date will smell you, kind of lingering across the table, and they're gonna want to come to your side of the table, or around the table to your side of the booth, because you'll draw them in with the magnetic pull of this fragrance. Like Dior Homme, it can be perceived to be a bit feminine. In fact, the female version of this fragrance is very similar, but I don't mind portraying a little bit of that feminine sass from time to time because I do what I want. It's only number 5 because, frankly, I'm in love with the top 4. And number 5, Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Cool. The number 4 designer fragrance for life is Amen by Mugler. Man, just one of these guys. You have to go with the original, because I do need a beast mode fragrance that's gonna make me feel like a super duper man. And that's how I feel with Amen. It performs incredibly, and it's a huge compliment getter, and has one of the best dry downs I think I've ever smelled. A big part of the reason I love the flanker so much is because it ends up being like the original. It has that signature Amen DNA, and this is made of that DNA. No, I can't wear this in the summertime, but I got plenty of other fragrances on this list that I can. But when I want to be noticed in the winter, oh baby, this is the best. And number 4 is Amen. And the number 3 fragrance is from the house of Prada. Luna Rossa Extreme. My favorite Prada fragrance, no questions asked. It takes Prada Luna Rossa Sport, which is very popular, a very cool Tonka fresh fragrance, and it makes it stronger, it makes it more unique with added pepper, which ultimately makes it more masculine. Surprisingly enough, I get about 14 hours of longevity on my skin if the temperature is moderate and mild, and noticeable projection for about 3 to 4 hours. The big disparity in longevity and projection makes it flexible. It's not the peppery Tonka bomb that you might think it is. And even though it has the all black design, I wouldn't call it a nighttime fragrance either. I think you can wear Extreme throughout the day, as long as it's not crazy hot and you're not sweating buckets. Does it work amazing at nighttime? Sure. Does it work awesome in the cold weather or even the mild weather? Yeah. Does it smell amazing? Oh yeah. It's a huge bummer that this guy got discontinued, so when I do run out of it, I'll probably be paying a lot of money to get more. But I will. At number 3, Luna Rossa Extreme. This was probably my hardest choice. From the house of Yves Saint Laurent, L'Homme Ultime. Royal family members will think, that's not a hard choice, dude. The Ultime, come on. But we do have to remember that La Nuit de l'Homme is from the same house. I went with L'Homme Ultime because this has more versatility, it's more unique as well, and it performs better. There's not much more to be said about L'Homme Ultime. The original L'Homme, better performance, a little more ginger, and added rose. So it's classy, and this works amazing in the cold, which L'Homme doesn't. The original L'Homme barely works in the heat. I mean, there's no point in me having it anymore. But L'Homme Ultime is a different story, man. I sincerely love this fragrance. If I had a signature scent that was tied to me, it would be L'Homme Ultime. But it's not number one because there's one more that I kind of just need. Number 2, L'Homme Ultime. And my number 1 designer fragrance to keep for life. From my favorite designer house, Chanel. Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. What can you say about this fragrance, everyone? It does it all for me. It's fresh, it performs well, it's classy, there's no off-putting notes in there, it's clean, it is an extremely dumb reach. It's such an interesting concept with the introduction of incense in a fresh aquatic fragrance like this. There have been so many fragrance houses that have released colognes that are similar in genre, but nothing really smells like Bleu de Chanel, minus Armaf. It really was a toss-up between these two because L'Homme Ultime is more unique to me and it's more of my identity. But objectively speaking, judging the fragrance as a whole, forgetting about the other guys that wear it, this is my number 1. In fact, if I tossed every single one of my designers out the door, this is the one that I would have to keep. But you should still join the Ultime, so. The number 1 designer fragrance to keep for life. Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. Let me know what you think of my choices, and if you have a disagreement, that's fine. Because I'm not saying these fragrances are the best, okay? It's just my opinion. I'm just expressing my opinion. You get your own. Can you believe it? If you want to see more top 10s, check them out here. Or my old school top 5s, back when I was a noob, or more videos there. Just for your entertainment.